why we're upset and impatient, because you're not focusing on what we can do together to make sure that all the mental illness that has been associated with combat, and then the PTSD that results, and the domestic violence that comes, and the homelessness, and then the suicides. We're not doing the job. I don't care what your figures show. We have tens of thousands of young people getting out of the military or the Guard who have not been adequately diagnosed for either PTSD or brain injury. Every one of your statistics says those who have come to us, which is, a small fraction of who is out there. So we are not doing the job. And we can't do our job if you are not honest with us. And as I said before in my opening statement, we only came into possession of certain emails. I don't know how many there are that out there, but we only have a few brought to the public by discovery in a legal case out West Coast. So 3 days after the hearing in which we asked directly, and Mr. Mitchell just said it, we asked Dr. Katz, do you need any help from us? What resources do you need? And he said, no, we got it taken care of. And here's our statistics, and CBS was wrong, and you guys shouldn't worry about this. 3 days after that, Dr. Cussman writes to Mr. Katz and others that, Dr. Cussman writes to Dr. Katz and others that in the clips this morning, I don't know if this is from home or work, but you're all working Saturday. That's good. 18 veterans kill themselves every day. That's what the CBS report said. Sounds awful, but let's not worry too much if you're considering 24 million veterans. Even in the first email that we have, and I don't know what else there is, nobody is saying, we're not doing the job here. They're saying, oh, does this sound good? Does this sound bad? And Dr. Katz says, yes, there are 18 suicides. Is it supported by the CBS numbers? Now, Dr. Katz, this contradicts what you told us in the hearing 3 days earlier. Why didn't you just call us up or ask for another hearing and said, we're looking at things differently. I misspoke. I want to talk to you some more about the statistics. This looks like a cover-up because you didn't tell us anything. And this is contradictory to what you said under oath to our committee. Why should you not either be, go to court for perjury or resign because you didn't tell us the truth? Dr. Katz, I'm asking you. You keep looking at him, but I'm asking you.
Thank you for asking.
Yeah.
In response to a question from Mr. Mitchell in the December 12th hearing, I and my colleague, Dr. Fred Blow, who accompanied me to the hearing, did mention the 18 a day for suicides among all veterans. We mentioned the 4 to 5 a day of suicides among those we cared for in VHA healthcare services. When I asked him to, Dr. Blow mentioned the fact that overall veterans had a rate of suicide about 1.5 times that of age and sex-matched individuals from the general population. And he mentioned the fact that among women, the ratio of suicides among veterans in our system to the general population was about 2. That was mentioned in the hearing on December 12th. There was no cover-up. This was mentioned.
Did you not say, and we saw the clip, so did you not say that CBS data was wrong?
I was not referring to the entire data, but the subset of data dealing with the youngest of veterans.
So the mission accomplished should have said mission accomplished only by those sailors who were aboard this ship in those 2 days. We didn't see the fine print. We asked you several times, and you said several times that the CBS data was wrong, and you never made any qualification of that as far as I can remember. Your story was they were wrong. And you didn't need any help either to deal with this issue. Is that right? You were fine. Why do you keep looking at him? I'm asking you.
Sir, I did speak about the suicide rates among veterans on December 12th, and I continue to have concerns about the CBS reports about rates and standard mortality ratios or ratios among the youngest veterans. I wish they would present their data so we could review it.
Yeah, but you're in charge. They're just reporting. They asked for all this data, and you never gave it to them, so they spend 6 months trying to find stuff that, Dr. Peake, you said we don't have as a VA. Well, they went out and found it, so I assume somebody can go out and find it if you thought it was important.
As I tried to explain, we are using the data from the national sources, which is the gold standard that any responsible statistician would be able to use for this. I will tell you, I am worried that suicide in general in this nation is underreported, not just in the military, not just in the VA.
Yeah, well, don't start that red herring. We're talking about veterans right now.
Yes, sir.
So don't tell me, well, the whole society is screwed up. We're going to do this job.
Sir.
Okay, so on the December 12th data, you don't see any difference, Dr. Katz, between what you told us then and what you said a few days later. You say you're consistent.
Again, the issue is the 18 a day, the 4 to 5 a day, the ratios of 1.5 and 2.0.
Okay.
And those were provided at the December 12th hearing in response to a question from Mr. Mitchell.
Now, let me ask on the February 13th emails. As we read them, I mean, first you say in one of them, shh. What did you mean by that, by the way?
That was very unfortunate. I think the email has to divide it into the subject line and the content. I deeply regret the subject line. It was an error, and I apologize for that. However, the content of the email, the body of the email, reflects an appropriate and healthy dialogue among members of VA staff about when it's appropriate to disclose and make public information early in the process of developing.
No, an appropriate thing would say, we're not sure of this data, we'll study it further. Maybe we should inform the committee. But what you say, is this something we should carefully address ourselves before someone stumbles on it? I mean, that's what you're concerned about, not the suicides, but somebody stumbling on this data.
No, sir. I'm concerned about saving lives.
Well, but that's not what you suggest here.
Sir, that email was in poor tone, but the content was a dialogue about what we should do with new information.
And did you tell Dr. Peake about all this? About the new data, or what is 1,000 attempts per
the purpose of that email was to open extensive dialogue within VHA about this emerging data.
I mean, did you tell Dr. Peake about that you were showing 1,000 suicide attempts per month?
I reported it to VHA senior leadership.
I mean, that's not what we have in the emails. We just have you talking to the PR guy.
We were opening a dialogue about what to do with the new information.
Yeah, and the first thing you do is talk to your public relations guy instead of somebody who might know something about how to treat suicide. I mean, it seems to me that what you're trying to do is manage the data, not deal with the data.
Sir, there's been extensive conversation about this with other suicide and mental health people.
I'm sorry, I didn't...
There's extensive conversation about the 1,000 a month with other people.
Yeah, but not in the information we have.
Not in that email, no.
So you would think that you would tell us about it, since we have obviously a concern about it, and we're the ones that can help get you the money to deal with the issue. It looks to me, and all I have is what you provided to the court by discovery motions, which I assume is as complete as you want it to be, and if you gave us other more complete stuff, then you probably didn't give enough to the original discovery, but that your interest is in managing the data as opposed to helping the veteran.